AMD Radeon RX 8000 RDNA 4 GPUs to feature up to 20 Gbps GDDR6 memory, 256-bit and 192-bit flavors. AMD Radeon RX 8000 GPUs based on RDNA 4 architecture now expected to get faster 20 Gbps GDDR6 memory. The latest information comes from the Kepler _L2, who is now stating faster memory clocks for the AMD Radeon RX 8000 GPU family based on the RDNA 4 graphics architecture. A few months back, Kepler stated that the lineup would utilize 18 Gbps GDDR6 memory across the entire stack, but it looks like we will be getting faster memory solutions. And if we can see here, released by the Kepler _L2, 25620, 25618 and 19219. There are 3 speeds mentioned, so we can expect some different configuration. There is no info on which configuration is designed for which GPU, since the lineup is expected to include 2 chips, Navi 48 GFX 1201 and Navi 44 GFX 1200. The Navi 48 GPU is the highest end of the 2 RDNA 4 SKUs and is likely going to retain 256-bit and 192-bit bus interference, while the Navi 44 chip is going to feature a 128-bit bus interference. As for the AMD specs, the 256 model are set to utilize 18 and 20 Gbps module. 20 Gbps DDR6 memory isn't new, since the current Radeon RX 7000 series also feature it and will provide the RDNA 4 GPU with 642 GB per second bandwidth, while the 18 GB per second memory will provide 576 GB per second of total bandwidth to the higher end Radeon RX 8000 parts. There is also one 192-bit model mentioned, and this utilizes 19 GB of GDDR6 memory, which should offer 456 GB per second of bandwidth. In terms of memory capacity, the AMD Radeon RX 8000 RDNA 4 GPUs should top out at 16 GB as recently seen. The 16 GB model will be configured with a 256-bit bus, while the 192-bit bus will be offering 12 GB memory capacity. So we can expect the lineup to be something like this from the following: Radeon RX 8000 Navi 48 256-bit 20 GB and 640 GB per second speed, RX 8000 Navi 48 256-bit 18 GB 576 GB per second, and Navi 48 192-bit 19 GB 456 GB per second, and Navi 44 128-bit 18 GB to 88 GB per second of bandwidth. The AMD Radeon RX 8000 RDNA 4 GPUs will definitely not be competing against nvidia high-end and next-gen RTX 50 Blackwell lineup, but instead tackle the mid-range and entry-level GPU series. AMD will battle out against nvidia and Intel in terms of the perf per dollar. So that's one reason why we are seeing DDR6 being leveraged instead of DDR7 for now. The lineup is expected to launch at CES 2025 with availability plans for Q1 2025. So stay tuned for the information. And if we see the AMD RDNA generational GPU lineup from RDNA 1 to RDNA 4, where RDNA RX 8000 is the new and RDNA 4 for the GPU architecture with the processor node of 3 nm or 5 nm, but not confirmed. And if we talk about the GPU family, belong to Navi 4, 44, 43, 48. And if we talk about the flagship, it's Navi 41, but is it cancelled with a big question mark. And the high-end GPU that they are going to launch is Navi 48 for SES, but still a big question mark. Mid-tier not available, and entry tier Navi 44 to SES.